Well, here we go. Back with another episode of the Insiders. If you want to know why I'm laughing, all you got to do is look to the co-host to the left or my right, however you're watching this. But Chow's always coming. First, he bought the hat. Now he's bringing the glasses. Who knows what else he has in store? But Alex, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
What's up? What's up? Just did a quick lap around the solar system, and now I'm back to talk some ELF football.
There we go. Well, let's dive into it as things are starting to pick up. But before we get this thing started, just want everyone to know, even though yes, this is called the Insiders, there's a bunch of us, and we all talk ball. And it wouldn't be right to just keep all the goods to ourselves. So we had to tap into our insider brotherhood or fraternity, so to say. Bring in my guy from Fourth Down Fiasco, our guy from Fourth Down Fiasco, Mr. Danny in the mix. What's going on, man?
Hey. I'm glad I could hop on.
Hey, this is officially part of your show too. Yours, nice. the team. This is all of ours. Every time we get to chop it up, we got to do it, man.
Yeah, it's great.
Danny, great to have you on. I mean, well-deserved invitation here for you and Fourth Down Fiasco guys. Happy to have you aboard.
Wow, high praise. Hopefully I can live up to it.
Representing. We've officially replaced Matt with you since Matt won the trivia game. We figured he's too good for this, so we had to bring you to the mix.
Yeah, he got bumped up to the ELF live show, so now it's just us three down here.
Yeah, most definitely. Shout out to Matt. He'll be back with us eventually, sometime soon, maybe next episode. But we'll see. But hey, like I said in the opening, this show right here is about some of the headlines in the ELF. Obviously, there's some moves being made. Things are starting to pick up. And I just want you to know that we've been reading your comments. We've been reading your questions. So why not just hash them out and talk about it? So I gave these guys a couple headlines just to get their thoughts, and we're going to dive into it. So, fellas, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, well, the first one we're going to dive into is we're going to go to Alex on the first one, and it has to do with maybe one of the most new teams that is off to a hot start, and that is the Nordic Storm. And where I'm going with this, Matt has an idea of where I'm going with this. So, Alex, my question to you, a headline. Are the Nordic Storm buying a championship? Obviously, we see their signings. We see, where a lot of these guys are coming from. What are your thoughts when you hear or you see when people say, "Oh, they're just buying a championship"?
I don't think it's. I think there's more than money in for Copenhagen and for the Nordic Storm. I don't think they're just going into these negotiations and doubling everybody's salary. I think there's a lot of motivations that's driving, Glenn Tunga and Jadrian Clark to Copenhagen. And I think it's John Shoup. I think it's something new. I think they're trying to elevate the league by doing this. I think there's a lot more than money at play here. So I'm going to go with nope. They're not buying it. There's a lot more than money in Copenhagen.
It's going to be crazy because we all know the homegrowns is kind of like obviously the bulk of the team. So they're bringing in great talent. And from what we're hearing, there's some more that they're on the way.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing it a little bit different than like your Madrid or like, the other teams had done it because they're a team that's building from scratch. But Danny, I want to go to you. What are your thoughts on when you see people say that, oh, they're stealing all the Rhein players or they're buying a championship?
They just have better negotiation.
They got better sales skills.
Yeah, like you can always argue like someone's buying a championship. Like in baseball, there's no salary cap. You can technically buy a championship in baseball. There's a salary cap in the ELF. You can't just go out and offer $20,000 for somebody. Like there's a limit to what you can offer. They chose them over them. Like you can't argue that. Like Alex said, there's just something they see in the Nordic Storm that they want to roll with instead of trying to three-peat and continue the dynasty of the Rhein Fire.
That is true, and we'll dive into the Rhein Fire later, but I believe that there's someone in the Nordic Storm franchise that's has on Kendrick Lamar just playing not like us every time they make a great signing. So shout out to that. But Danny, we're gonna go with you for the next one. All right. Let's see what we got here. Here's a good one. The Vienna Vikings. Traditionally a team that they don't make a lot of big splashes, and they're continuing that wave now, re-signing a lot of their players like they normally do. But obviously, this is a team that's kind of in what they would consider a 2-year drought based on not getting to where they would like to be, or not achieving what they would like to achieve, and that's the championship at the end of the day. Obviously, we always hear about their schedule, their conference, they don't play anybody, so on and so forth. But my question for you, Danny, is rebuilding enough for the Vienna Vikings? Do they gotta maybe take an extra step or go above and beyond to get to that what was once the Rhein Fire level? Obviously, we don't know what's left of the Fire, but is rebuilding enough for Vienna?
I think they need to take an extra step. Their imports on defense last year were struggling a little bit against the better teams. We saw it in the championship game. We already know they're not bringing Xavier Edwards back. They're not bringing Jordan Bois back. If the rumors we hear from their other homegrown wide receiver are true, that'll be a good step in the direction.
Yeah.
But I want to see big changes on the defense. They need solid import defensive backs to really make a solidified championship push or run.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. And even last year, I feel like they were young, but they had a lot of depth at DB. So maybe they go 1A at DB and maybe go defensive line. I don't know, because their D line's kind of stopped too if they bring back Thomas Schaefer, Leo Ballo, JP Bombeck. So it'll be interesting to see if they continue to go the 2A defensive back method that a lot of teams do go. Maybe I'll go to Chow for this since he's the spokesperson for the men in purple. What are your thoughts on Vienna? Maybe has to take the next step, but what that next step might look like.
Yeah, I think Danny nailed it. They got to figure out the defense. That's what really let them down in the championship game. One thing at the championship game that Jadrian Clark mentioned is that most of their import spots were for offensive players, and really their defense was mostly homegrowns. Maybe they change that this upcoming season. We'll see what their strategy is, but we've seen them, like you said, Jamal, go with a defensive end with a spot before. Maybe they do it again next season.
Just bring in Kyle Kitchens and you'll be good.
There we go.
In the words of Matt Bresington, that would be diabolical. That would be straight villainous. Villainous, as he likes to say. Shout out to Matt. But that would be crazy to see someone like Kyle Kitchens type in purple, right?
That'd be crazy.
He won't get double teamed as much. I'll tell you that, because especially you bring back Schaefer, and I'm assuming Ball's going to stay too. That's a good idea. I never thought about Mr. Kitchens in purple. That's interesting. That's a headline in itself. That
you can slack on defensive backs if the quarterback only has half a second to throw the ball.
That's true. That's true. You could be a little bit more aggressive. That is true. All right, Alex, you ready for the next one, my friend?
Let's do it.
So this is kind of a topic that I've discussed, previous off seasons, before, and we'll kind of see it, come to fruition with, what this team last year has done and where these coaches have gone. But the Madrid Bravos, their former coaching staff, they are winning the off season, right? Prague went to the Madrid Warriors. Thrones went to the Madrid Warriors getting the coach. My question to you is not necessarily on Madrid, but who's that next coordinator to get that spot that's had ELF experience?
Yeah, I mean, this is almost like what they show in every NFL game where Kyle Shanahan and Matt LaFleur
coaching tree.
Who someone else I'm forgetting are on the same staff. Thank you. Yeah. It feels that way with the Madrid team. Dave Warner, obviously, going to Prague. And Mark Ridley going to Hungary. So we'll see. As far as up-and-coming coordinators, I mean, what does Kyle Callahan have to do
That's
to
what I'm
get a head
saying.
coaching gig? He's
That's what
been
I'm
over
saying.
here forever. The guy put up points. He's creative. Maybe he doesn't want to be the guy. Maybe he just wants to chill and call plays. Who knows? But I'd love to see him in a head coaching role down the line.
That's fair too. I think from conversations I've had with him in the past, I think head coaching is something he wants to do. But I'm with you. Like, again, we don't know if he's got an interview or not. But I feel like he's someone that definitely deserves a shot. I think also Coach Brenner, D coordinator for the Surge, someone who might be picking things up. Maybe Richard Kent. Obviously, he won, assistant coach of the year last year for the Fire. We'll see. But I've always been an advocate for these coordinators getting opportunities. Obviously, we saw Kentra Ellison leave Hamburg, go to Munich. We're seeing the Prague and the Enthroners diving into, again, Madrid to bring those guys in as well. So it'd be interesting to see that, where those coaches come from and the success Madrid had, and if they could replicate or do that, especially for those type of two franchises with Prague and the Enthroners who need some type of life, right? Who need some type of life, and maybe it's on the way. Maybe it's on the way.
Hopefully.
All right, Danny. This one's near and dear to my heart, my friend. Near and dear to my heart. I think we know where we're going with this one. I even wore a throwback guard shirt.
Whoa, that's vintage.
This is officially vintage, right? This is officially vintage. But now, let's talk about it. Is Helvetic on the verge of being, I don't want to say a contender for a championship, but getting past where they are now and getting into that, scratching the playoffs, so to say, or like being one of the top 3 teams in the Central? Are we on the verge of contending and taking that next step? And before you answer that, just know I have the power to remove you from the screen if you do say something disrespectful.
They might win the championship game this year.
All right. Well, hey, let's go.
Or probably finish with what they did last year. I like the addition they brought in with Aaron Jackson. I don't know if their offensive line is going to get any better. They've already lost a lot of homegrowns, and they didn't have a very good line last year, and Aiken was running for his life. So whoever they're going to bring in needs to be quicker than Aiken and be able to handle hits. Because Aiken got hit like 120 times last year.
I think love Carlton. I think we might have pushed him to retirement. Love Carlton.
I think Helvetic had to deal with his hanging up the cleats.
Yeah, it's and the thing with Helvetic, and obviously, they signed Jock Crawford, athlete. We'll see what that experiment looks like. Milan Spiller is back. That's a great sign. The Aaron Jackson signing is interesting for the fact that you had to sell the future for Aaron and what it looks like. A player of that caliber is not going to sign and is not going to be as quick to sign if he doesn't believe or know what the plan is going forward. So, although we're all happy Aaron Jackson signed, it's more so the message of when he signed, the fact that he did sign, that gives mercenary fans hope. All right.
Yeah.
So hopefully the turnaround, TTP as they're saying, right? We're going to turn the page. We're going to look forward. And hopefully this is the start of the contending era in Switzerland. So we'll see what happens there.
I hope we figure out what they said to Aaron Jackson. And what was he offered? That was I just want to know what he was offered and what he was told.
He signed so quick. I'm sure he had, he could have waited it out a bit, but he must have gave him something he couldn't say no to, honestly.
They could have.
Is he going to get what he was offered, though?
They could have used it as leverage. He could have waited. He said, nah, I believe in the Swiss Alps. The chocolate is phenomenal. I'm not much of a cheese guy, but the lakes are great. I've watched Silas and Sita's films on YouTube. I'm going to play for Helvetic. They got 4,000 fans compared to the 8,000 I saw in Berlin. Doesn't matter. I'm going to play for Helvetic.
If you threw in like unlimited Swiss chocolate, I might be in.
I got to say, other than the Aaron Jackson signing, if you look at the assistant coaches they brought in, it's a pretty impressive group of guys.
Yeah.
So I really like, honestly, what they've been doing. Like the coaching staff they're bringing in, a lot of like former Division I and NFL guys. So maybe that's what they can use to bring those homegrowns back. But we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. And it's a good, and like you said, it's a good selling point in terms of like, listen, this is what we're building, a message to the homegrowns. Like, listen, like we're trying to be real. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Alex, here we go. Starting to hear some rumblings, starting to see some snippets of a possible return for this guy.
Ooh.
Is Jarvis McClam, is he coming back? Is he gonna end his season the way he did, or is he coming back for revenge?
No, man. I think Jarvis, he still was playing such good football then. I think he'll be back in the ELF. It's a shame how things ended last year, not only with his injury, but just the Hamburg season was just a mess, right? From the beginning. I'd love to see him come in and do his thing. I love his vlogs, and he's just a great personality for the league. This is exactly the type of guys that should be playing in the ELF. So I hope we see him back. Can I name a spot for him right now? No, not off the top of my head, but I think he'll be back. I just hope and pray he's back somewhere.
All right, let me do this for you. I'll throw you a layup. Let's just say every team that has not signed a receiver, an American receiver, has a clean slate right now. So obviously Helvetic you can't put into this mix, right? Where would you put him?
Man, maybe in Roslav. I could see that.
Okay.
Maybe Cologne. They've been pretty quiet.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, there's still a lot of spots open.
Yeah.
Maybe Prague. Maybe having a veteran like that in Prague would be good.
He would have some.
But I'd like to see him. Exactly. So yeah, I'd see maybe an Eastern Conference team or the Cologne would be my guess.
Most definitely. All right, Danny, bring us home on this last headline, because the gloves came on for this one when they started to see what one team was doing and where certain players were doing and who was retiring and who was leaving. And this is the one everyone's here for. All right. Is this the end of the Rhein Fire dynasty? Is it cut short? Where does Uncle Tom Sula go from here?
Go out and fill your quarterback and running back position. That you could go sign Obi. You could go sign another quarterback. Hey. Maybe call up Epler again. Be like, hey, you want to move out of Texas and back to Germany?
Hey, Epler played well too.
Yeah, he did play well. But no, it'll be curious to see who they sign. It depends on who they sign if their dynasty is cut short. It's going to be very hard to replace Tunga and Clark and whoever else they lose. But I wouldn't say it's definitely over just because we don't know what they're going to do.
Absolutely. The way the conferences are aligned now, it looks like there's a possibility they're going to be playing those guys twice, especially if Nordic's considered in that conference. I gave Chow a layup. Let me give you a layup. Give me a replacement for Jadrian and Glenn that played in the ELF last year that could play for the Fire.
Well, Obi's available now that Madrid signed. Who'd they sign? What's his name?
Nico Barrow.
Yeah.
Another Bresington guy.
Yeah, you could sign Obi as your running back position. Quarterback.
And I think Tom Sula might go more ground and pound. I think he really let Andrew, obviously wanted to run the ball, but let him handle the passing game. I think naturally, he's going to go a little old school. So I could see an Obi. I could see someone like that.
Quarterback wise, I don't know. There's only X amount of top quarterbacks, and a lot of them are still signed. But you could try to call up Aiken if you want to switch your offensive play calling and go kind of more ground and pound option kind of play.
Yeah.
He can throw the ball, obviously, but utilize his legs. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing a quarterback out there.
What are your thoughts on Duncan?
Ooh, Duncan. Isn't Duncan retired? You had to get him out of retirement. I thought I saw him post on Twitter.
You could get Duncan and Aiken out of retirement to go to the Fire. Anybody come out. I might come out of retirement.
You could call up
play quarterback.
quite a few quarterbacks and be like, "Hey, you want to come play for the Rhein Fire?"
How crazy would it be if Magic Zach left Paris to go to the Fire?
I don't see him leaving Paris.
I don't see it either.
What about Helbig after his injury?
Oh,
He's
okay.
healthy.
Potentially. You know who I liked is Matthew McKay last year for the Galaxy. I think he could be the guy, maybe.
Yeah.
You know where else? Getting off the Fire. You know where else I could see Helbig just, again, connecting dots? Prague and Throners, maybe in the mix. If they're looking for a dude to turn the program around. Have ELF experience. We'll see. We'll see how that pans out.
The real tough replacement is Glenn. I mean, there's nobody like Glenn in the league right now.
No.
Yeah, the closest is probably David Brzozowski. He's not leaving Poland.
No, even if you give him a deal, he probably wouldn't leave.
Yeah, he ain't leaving Poland. So we'll see. We'll see
Glenn's
how that
just
pans
a
out.
freak. He's so good.
What'd you say?
Glenn's just a freak.
Yeah.
He's too good.
Great. Light on his feet. Got vision. Got dreads.
Got MVPs.
We'll see how that pans out. But those are some headlines we wanted to give the people. Again, drop a comment below. This is an interactive show. Let us know what you guys think. We'll respond back, and we'll chop it up with you guys. Lastly, before we get this thing out, I didn't tell the guys I was going to ask them this, but I wanted to get their thoughts. Give me one player or team you're excited to see make a big splash. Or a player you want to see get signed next.
The team that I'm looking forward to the most to watch next year is my guys, Helvetic Mercenaries.
Honestly,
they got Aaron Jackson. They've got a great coaching staff. I mean, the fact that Aaron Jackson signed so soon tells me they got something cooking. This guy, he'll raise the program wherever he goes, and so I expect the Mercenaries to be a lot better. Maybe they start fighting, in that upper tier of the Central Conference with the Ravens and Raiders. We'll see. They still got to prove it, but definitely seems like they're kind of topping the rest of the kind of bottom of the league. So excited to see them take that jump forward.
Hey, breakout year for Milan Spiller. Nope.
Again,
no disrespect.
Another breakout year.
Milano Seaman, but Milan Spiller.
But listen, no disrespect.
Where are you going?
No disrespect to Anthony Brown. And granted, he was hurt sometimes. But teams are going to want to pay more attention to Aaron Jackson. And that's going to leave Milan in better matchup situations.
No, that's a great
point.
And
it also depends who their third receiver is going to be.
Yeah.
I'm assuming – I don't know. Again, I want them to use all the resources they got online. But if they go at an E spot for a receiver, we'll see. But I think Milan is going to get a lot of good matchups because I think Aaron Jackson is going to command the attention. So, we'll see. We'll see. If I had to answer that question, I'm interested in Frankfurt. Reason why I'm interested in Frankfurt, one, obviously, new coaching staff. Two, they're going with a new quarterback. Obviously, there wasn't stability there last year. Three, the fact that guys are still re-signing with Frankfurt after the type of year they had. Something's brewing over there possibly. I'm not going to get on the Frankfurt train early like I did last year. I was on it early. I was like, oh, Markel, Luke, what? Kaya? Platzgoer? Jeez.
It looks so good. Yeah, it looks so good.
We'll see. If most of those pieces return, for me, it says that they gotta do that quarterback, but we'll see. They already signed Kaya, so we'll see. See how all that.
I think they'll bring a big name at QB, like a former UFL or CFL guy. Just my prediction.
Seeing the trend, that's where a lot of people might dive into that pool. So we'll see.
Seems like it.
Most definitely.
It feels like a lot of the German teams haven't made a lot of noise in the offseason yet. Like Berlin did the rebrand. Hamburg hasn't done much. Frankfurt signed, but been kind of quiet. Stuttgart hasn't really done anything. The Fire lost a lot of guys.
Yeah.
It's like Germany's been weird.
Well, maybe because they just released a statement that, hey, GFL, we're not doing business with you no more. So now it's free game, maybe.
Yeah. No more suspensions for hopping on
Yeah,
over.
right. Shout out to Berlin, because that rebrand is they have potential to have probably one of my favorite jerseys, depending on what K Pro does with them. That black and gold is nice.
It's a nice little gold they have.
Switch up too. There's already too much red and blue in the league. Switch the thing up.
100%.
I want orange back. I want orange and blue back.
As a Gators fan, I agree with you. As a Florida Gators fan, I could use some orange and blue as well. But hey, this is a good episode, fellas. Hey, remember, headlines that we're seeing, we read them, so we have to talk about them. You guys let us know what you think about the headlines we're seeing, right? Some of the topics we talk about, and we'll keep it going. But Danny, Fourth Down Fiasco, Mal Chow, you do your walk and talks, I can't even pronounce a German cafe.
Cafe Klatsch.
Your cafe Klatsch.
Coffee clap. You clap enough coffee.
Coffee gossip.
It's like the Vienna Vikings.
Exactly.
And me, I just drop videos whenever I feel like it. So the insiders on First Down Magazine, keep tuning in, keep subscribing in. We'll keep this thing going. Take care, fellas.